Have you ever met a teacher who likes to go bar and shoot students with a paintball gun? Looking at him, everyone thinks he's a villain, and no one thinks he's a teacher. Yet he is a teacher. It turns out, before he becomes a teacher, he's really a ruffian. Why is that? This man's name is Zeke. He spends 13 months in prison for robbing a bank. After he gets out of prison, he goes looking for his friend to get back the money he has hidden. His friend is not very smart. She buried money in a construction site. The construction project was completed, and his money is now buried beneath the new gymnasium at the Gerda School. Because he has no money, he is beaten by the creditor. No other way, Zeke applies for the vacant position of a deceased janitor. Then he can blatantly find that money again. But on the day of the interview, he discovers that the other candidates are dressed women very well. The main goal now is to eliminate these competitors. By the time everyone is not paying attention, Zeke presses the alarm button. The other candidates rush away. At this moment, the principal calls the candidates to interview. At this point, Zeke knows that the principal is recruiting a teacher cum logistics. The principal sees that only Zeke comes to apply, so she accepts him as well. Thus, the Zeke who hasn't finished middle school becomes a middle school teacher. The principal asks him to provide a pedagogical certificate. He doesn't have it, so he gets acquainted with a teacher named Lisi. He makes her faint, then finds her pedagogical certificate, then makes a fake copy of her certificate. The next day, Zeke wears glasses to resemble a teacher. The teaching style of a ruffian is, as long as the students don't do anything, they can do whatever they want. This school has a class of particular students, Class 10B. On his first day of teaching, Zeke sees a 10B teacher being teased by a student, to the point of wanting to commit suicide. Currently, there is no teacher who wants to teach that particular class. As the principal is opening a meeting to find the teacher for Class 10B, Zeke is pouring beer into a milk carton. Without any comment, the principal appoints Lisi. Lisi's first class is devastated by the students. The chalk, water tap, washcloth. Lisi is crazy about these mischiefs. That day, Lisi accidentally discovers the fake certificate of Zeke. So she uses that secret to threaten Zeke to change classes for her. The principal also agrees. So Zeke becomes the particular class homeroom teacher. A hoodlum punishes bad students. In the daytime he goes to teach, at night he digs money. At first, Zeke is so subjective that he's teased by the students, like the other teachers. From a bank robber to a pathetic teacher like this. Zeke curses angrily. A longtime hoodlum can't give in to the middle school students. The next day Zeke brings his secret weapon to revenge. After yesterday, the students see him as nothing. With a few students skipping class, Zeke immediately takes out the paintball gun. And so they have to go back to class. When teaching swimming, Zeke throws students directly into the water. Fighting students, Zeke refrains from holding that student underwater. Finally, students must apologize. That evening, while Zeke is digging the ground, he accidentally finds the box that Lisi buried. In it's Lisi's diary from the time she was a student of this school. Zeke reads and laughs, but his smile fades away as he remembers his teacher, who has made him hate studying. Because of that, his life goes badly. Zeke doesn't want the Class 10B student to step on the tracks of his car. Zeke determines to change them. When hearing their dreams of wanting to become gangsters and thugs, Zeke immediately takes them to a gangster's house to see what his life is like. The students are very shocked. Before, they think that being a gangster is cool. Unexpectedly, the reality is so tragic. As if that aren't enough, Zeke also wants to help students exploit themselves. Zeke tricks the girl with the lowest grade in his class that she is actually a genius and her talent is rare. Zeke advises her to read science books, research and build machines. She tries it out and finds that it's fun. Zeke also takes the students to join the drama club. He discovers that the script Romeo and Juliet is too out of date, so he and his students rewrite the script. Their performance receives a lot of praise and wins the second prize in the competition. The way Zeke's education makes the students really change. The normal students who did not touch these books are now shouting for the correct answer. The students like Ziki very much and vote him the coolest teacher. Lisi is sad that she has been a teacher for many years but has never received recognition from her students. Ziki knows about this and wants to help her. That evening, Ziki takes Lisi and the students to paint the train. The students enjoy Lisi's drawing so much that they are politer to her. They also cooperate with her in class. Ziki also pretends to be her boyfriend to help her successfully obtain custody of her sister. Lisi asks Ziki why he's helping her. "I don't want your sister to grow up in an adopted family like me." Lisi is very touched. She likes Ziki, but Ziki knows that he doesn't stay at school for long, so he turns her down. Not long after, Ziki digs up with his money. He pays off the debt, but doesn't leave immediately, but stays and leads the students to participate in science and technology exhibitions. One day, Lisi discovers the secret of Ziki and his past in prison. Lisi feels herself being cheated. She's very disappointed. Ziki is so sad that he doesn't want to go to school anymore. But Ziki doesn't know. When the students know it, they keep begging Lisi to forgive him. Lisi doesn't understand why the student likes a criminal. Because he understands and respects us. During the exam, Lisi discovers that each student has a card. It turns out that this is the self-encouragement Ziki advises them to do. Each card is the first goal in their life. Ziki has a card too. When Lisi takes it out, she finds a photo of herself. Turns out she is Ziki's driving force. At this point, as Ziki's friend comes to find Lisi, she says Ziki is seriously changing himself for Lisi and the students. If Lisi leaves him, he might return as a ruffian. Lisi immediately goes to find Ziki. The principal sees that Lisi leaves her position of supervisor, so she goes to class 10B to check. As a result, the students are taking the exam very seriously. They have really changed. At that time, Ziki is instigated by his friend to rob a car carrying money. He suddenly sees the train painted by Lisi and the students. He immediately gives up robbing the money. He decides to go back to school to be a teacher. In the end, Ziki dates Lisi. And thanks to the principal's help, he becomes a real teacher. Although Ziki is not a professional teacher, he uses his sincerity and respect in exchange for the students' change of self-consciousness. Ziki changes the lives of many students, and he also changes himself.